Anyways, off track. But anyways, so far so good, right? We talked about a lot of things, and I want to make sure I remind everyone and those that are here for the first time, handouts. I think these handouts have been pretty helpful. But our overview is work hard, play hard during the holidays. Don't be like a lot of agents. We say this every week. You know, so many agents just cruise through Thanksgiving, they cruise through Christmas, they kick up their feet, they get happy and eat a lot of turkey and do lots of Christmas shopping, but then what happens to us the first quarter? We start complaining that we're slow, or we're complaining because we're broke. So no action equals income. Leads, appointments, and contracts are lead indicators, closing are lag indicators. So if you don't have any closings right now, it's probably because in Q3, we weren't doing a lot of these things that we're talking about. And if we don't have any closings in Q1, it's because we're not taking the activity that we're talking about today, or doing the activity that we talked today. Remember, our job as real estate agents, plant seeds, nurture them, harvest them, but then we also need to hunt. You know, being a farmer can only get us so much as a real estate agent. There's a lot of times we just need to go out there and take some shots, right? Make sure that we're always, and I actually had a great conversation with Jacqueline earlier today, talking about service. So make sure we always service. What's up, Brian?
How's it going? Excuse me.
Brian, introduce yourself. We have technically one new face today.
I'm Brian York. I'm a realtor here at this office.
And this is Barry Hess, a T-Bear as we call it.
Hi, how you doing? Good.
I'm pretty sure, and you guys all met Jacqueline. Jacqueline's probably, other than Sherry, she's probably does everyone know Jacqueline? Just by the way? Like, who else is new this year, like within the last few weeks, months? I think that's it, right? Sherry's probably there. Oh yeah, Yasmina. God, I feel like Yasmina, I go way back because I see yourself.
All 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. So lots of new faces, smiling, happy faces. And I apologize. I lose track of time real fast and real easy. So sometimes I feel like I'm still in 2011. And if you see any pictures my wife posted of me when I was in Mexico, it probably looks like I was like back in 1999. So, but serve, deliver, out market, out hustle. That's our mission. That's our mantra. The best agents are always service minded. And then one thing I actually added this, Newton's third law. My son's getting into science and physics, my oldest son, and Newton's third law tells us for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, okay? And so what that means is we talk about activity. We talk about putting great things out there. Ultimately, that's work, right? And in return for that action, that work action, we're gonna receive an equal and opposite reaction, and that's income. Does that make sense? And then let's not go into 2020 broke. Let's make that commitment to ourselves. Look ourselves in the mirror, look at your partners, your neighbors, anyone that's on your board that we've talked about in our Kickstart, and just do not let ourselves go into 2020 broke. And if you need to talk to me outside of this and do some one-on-one coaching, always happy to help. So does that sound good? All right, so today's Q4 coaching is all about getting more listings. Real quick poll, how many in this room feel like you have enough listings? You guys are in the right place today. So, okay, let me spin that question. How many in this room want more listings? There we go, everybody, right? Now, one topic, can you write this down before I forget? Because I will forget. One topic above and beyond, but beyond this that I want to add to Q4 coaching or something is how to market listings. Because one thing I'm hearing too, this is a segue, a side note, the listings we have, do you feel like you're getting the showings or the offers that you want? Do you think that's something that we should do as a Q4 coaching, or maybe roll it into Q1 coaching? Is talk about some advanced outside of the box marketing ideas for listings. So I promise we'll do that. So between Michelle and I, we'll come up with the outline.
And you do have your open house one coming up as well.
Yes, yep. And I'm going to reference that here in a little bit. Okay, so that's great that you guys are all here because we got over 30 or right at 30 different ideas to help you guys get more listings. I will tell you, let's not try to go for all 30 ways right away, like today, tomorrow, this week. Pick 1 or 2 or 3 first, and let's focus on those 1 to 2 to 3. You will find too that a lot of the systems on how to market for listings are going to be things that you can replicate for other channels, for other pillars, okay? So if we have, for instance, like a seller drip campaign, you can use that seller drip campaign that you create for all the different ways that we're going to talk about. So don't overwhelm yourself. the key thing too is don't beat yourself up. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching sessions with lots of agents. We've been doing a lot of accountability masterminds, and a lot of you guys are your worst enemies. You guys are just like so mean to yourself. Don't do that, please. You guys are able-bodied, super smart, super professional, great looking. So don't beat yourself up. Think highly of what you're doing, and don't, if you're not where you're at, it's not too late. We still can add a few sales before the end of the year, but it's always about focusing on the moment so you can have the results that you want to have in the future. We can't go back in time and sell more houses or do this or do that. We just, realistically can't do that. Does that sound good? So the tools you're going to need to get more listings: CRM. We've been preaching database, sphere of influence. Just a little bit of a plug for some services that you guys all have at your disposal. If you need help, right, Jill, building your database, we have our gals that can help for very minimal dollars. Jill, real quick, can you share your story of what you got for your database?
Well, I'm still working on really paring it down after they worked on it, but they were awesome to take. Like, they went through all my sources and just compiled it into a database, and now I just need to go through and, they even went in and took doubles out and things like that. So it was very helpful.
Yeah.
It was a place to start because I was so overwhelmed by all the different places that I had.
Jill's kind of a big deal, and she kind of knows a lot of people. And so when they took all of her contacts, she had like over 2,400 people,
ridiculous.
and some of them a little bit more duplicates. But how many total hours, and what did it end up costing you for the gals to help you do that?
Oh gosh, I would have to look back.
It was like $60, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Something
was
like that.
nothing.
It's like,
What
was it
they
like
did.
15,
It was really-
25?
Is it like 35 an hour?
Something
Yeah,
like that.
That's
Very,
what they
very
do?
minimal.
Yeah, so a couple of hours, make
Yeah.
that all
Exactly.
together.
Totally worth it. So I would highly recommend that.
So if you don't have that, that's one place to start. And that's not just gonna help you with getting listings, but that's back to our core 4 to 24, the sphere of influence. That's the number one way for you guys to get a good chunk of your goals is within your own CRM. Number 2 tool that you're gonna need is Matrix. Matrix does more than just help you with search and finding houses. Matrix has so much great data, past and present, for you guys to use. So I'm gonna talk a lot about how we can utilize Matrix, and all this stuff too, we can definitely do more meetings on and more one-on-ones. For sale by owners websites, there's a ton out there. FSFBO.com, I don't even know all the names of them, but Google for sale by owner in Des Moines or Iowa, then you'll find probably 2 or 3 or 4. Craigslist is also, I haven't been on Craigslist lately. I don't know if anyone else has, but I know lots of sellers, individual sellers for sale by owners will post on Craigslist. Zillow is huge for helping you guys find listings. So if anything, let's use that information right back at them. They have a Make Me Move. Have you guys ever seen Make Me Move? For those that haven't, Make Me Move is who enjoy want to sell their house, but they don't want to list it. They would be willing to sell it if it was the right price. So somebody can join you, can just say, hey, make me move. I want to sell my house for X thousand bucks. So check that out. And then RedX. Does anyone in this room use RedX or heard of RedX? Do you subscribe to it yourself individually?
I don't have an active subscription now, but I did when I was on team.
Yep.
I used it quite a bit.
Yeah.
What is it?
RedX is a great tool. So it's spelled red and then just a single letter X, RedX. And what it is it's like a data scrubber. And so expireds, for sale by owners, it will give you actually property addresses and as much contact information as the program has. Is that kind of a fair statement?
Yeah, and that's pretty nice because you can keep track, like when you're going down making calls, you can like mark the different stages of, like I've called them this time and it's really easy to use.
How much is it? Do you know?
That I don't know.
It's a monthly subscription. I haven't looked into it for a while. Don't quote me. I think it was like $40-ish a month, but don't quote me. Check it out though. There's other programs that do what RedX does, but I think they're the best based off of my research, pulling other agents. The team that Cameron's references is Shane's team, the Torres team. They use it religiously. But it's a great tool, and that's advanced. There's going to be some things in here, guys, that are going to be very basic. Well, have we said all along? Real estate is basic, right? It's about passing, blocking, tackling. But then there are things that are going to be more advanced, like flea pickers and reverses. So that will be advanced. And again, just focus on a few things at a time. So step one, the first way to really get more listings is start with your sphere of influence. Really take a look at anyone that you helped at least 3 years or more. Now, there are some clients that we have that they bought a house a year ago or 2 years ago, and they're already thinking about selling. That's not probably as low hanging of a fruit as someone that, you know, that you helped buy a house 5 to 7 years ago. You know, NAR tells us that the average homeowner stays in their house at least 5 to 7 years. So think about them. I don't know if any of you guys do this religiously, but especially if you have the time and the energy for those individuals, send them a market analysis. You know, you don't have to go super deep. You can definitely do a range. You can definitely do something topical. You can definitely say, hey, it looks like your assessed value is this. You know, our friends at Zillow have this estimate of that. RPR tells us this. Just or a range. These are some homes that have sold in your area. You know, it's one of those things that a lot of them are going to be surprised and maybe even happy that you helped them buy their house in 2012, and 7-8 years later, we've seen an average appreciation of X%. They're going to be doing pretty good. It's kind of crazy when I go back and look at some of my 2012 clients that I helped buy a house for $185, and now it's worth like $235, $245. Is anyone else seeing that? T-Bear, you seeing that? And then, so C is, and I'm in this handout too, I'm giving you guys some wording ideas. Now this is OO wording, so I like to use the word love and things like that. But my clients that have bought 3 or more years ago, I've seen a lot of increase in their home value. If you've ever thought about trading up or down, I'd love to talk. Other things you can send to your SOI, are you planning to sell your home in 2020? Just a super simple subject line, right? This might be the best time to sell and move up. Also, you think about your sphere of influence, because not only is this stuff that can help them individually, but we know that every one person knows at least 100, if not 200 people, right? So think about how you can get this message out to their people. So items of value, a seller drip campaign. Lead Street's got a great one. Lead Street, if you guys aren't using Lead Street, if you don't have a CRM, Lead Street's free. And if you're not checking out the seller and buyer drip campaigns in Lead Street, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's setting up a system, but once it's set up, you can automate it, set it, forget it. Remax has some great YouTube videos. It's called Remax Fit to Sell videos. Great to add, especially if you're doing like a monthly newsletter, like I've talked with a lot of you guys on, you know, plugging in different items of value, plug in some of those videos. There's quite a few of them. Has anyone seen those videos that I'm referencing? They're really well done. They're done by Remax International. Denver probably was where they were produced, and they're just super high polished. So I think if you were to send that with your own personal marketing branding, I think it'd be very impressive to most sellers. Overall market stats, I talked about that earlier. You know, I was talking with an old developer buddy of mine, and we were talking about back in the day when, you know, we were, you know, selling his product that rates were 5.75. You know, that was back in 2007, and then rates went to 4 something. And now where are rates at? Does anyone know?
3.5 today, I saw.
3.5, yeah. Yeah.
3.3.
Yeah, 3.3. I saw somewhere I saw a little higher. I think it was like last week. I saw like a 3.67 on someone's mortgage calculator. But yeah, just think about that real quick. Just pretend like your sphere of influence, they're oblivious to the world, right? Which most of them are. They're not in the market for mortgage rates, right? They're focused on work or family. And then all of a sudden you say, did you know, a friend of mine in my sphere of influence, that today's rates are 3%. If you're thinking about moving up, now another stat that we know is most sellers, most buyers will move up 1.5 times. So if you help that client buy a $200,000 home 1.5 times, that means that they might be buying a $300,000 home, right? 300s might be buying a 450. And that 450 payment or that 300 payment at a 3 or a 4% rate versus maybe a 4 or 5% rate, that's a pretty big deal, right? And so educating them on the overall market stats. Now that also is critical too, because sometimes some people think the market's so easy that anyone can sell a house, right? They can do it for sale by owner. So we definitely want to make sure that we tell them that the economy, the market's strong, but it still needs a professional to help them with their biggest transaction. Okay. Any questions on that? And is anyone doing any of those things currently right now to your sphere of influence? All right, so that's one thing we should focus on. That's why I put it at number 1, because back to the sphere of influence, they already know us, like us, trust us, right? So that's our low hanging fruit. Anytime you get a lead from your SOI, the conversion rate's at least 50+% versus a Zillow online lead that you might see at, 1 out of 25, 1 out of 50. Okay. Number, kind of double-sided, isn't it, Michelle?
Mhm.
Okay, number 2, leverage your buyers with hand-addressed letters to potential sellers. How many in this room you're working with at least one buyer right now? Keep your hand up too, please. How many in this room you're working with at least 2 buyers? Keep them up. 3? Okay, 4? 5? 6? Okay, so in this room, I think everybody, I didn't see one hand that was not raised that you guys have at least one buyer. But some of you have a few, all the way up to 5 or 6, right? And so one thing that every average agent does, and a lot of below average agents, this is all they do too, is they take that one ready, willing, and able buyer, and hopefully you guys are having these CTO come into the office, buyer consultations, right? And then you show them matrix, and you show them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, these houses between, 175 and 250, this is all the houses that I'm gonna show you. And then we hope and pray that one of those 100 or 20 homes is the one that you end up writing an offer on, and everyone wins, right? They get the house, you get commission, the other listing agent wins, and then that other seller wins, right? And that's great, you've done your job, status quo. But above and beyond that is, why not take that ready, willing, and able buyer and leverage them, turn them into conversations, use them like a bird dog. Does anyone know what a bird dog is? It's when you go hunting and you send the dog, and your dog jumps into the bush, and all next thing you know, all these birds, all these pheasants or ducks fly everywhere. That one ready, willing, and able buyer can become your bird dog if you leverage them properly. And so think outside the box, do more than just that status quo. So everyone in this room, I'm gonna challenge you guys to post something, at least on your Facebook, or send it out to your database, your CRM, or even way above and beyond that, use that buyer as a direct mail piece and target, right? Target your CRM, data mine your CRM. Joe, give me one of your buyers that you have that you're looking at, or that you're trying to help.
A name?
Yeah, not a name, but like they're just
Their
what they're
full
looking
name and
Their
contact
full
information.
We're actually looking for something under 200 in Neighbordale.
for. Okay. And is that hard right now, guys, to
Yeah.
find? That's pretty tough, isn't it?
I don't know.
Let's make a deal.
The problem is they're moving from out of town, and they're just listing their house tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's been kind of a pointless search so far, because we've lost you.
Yeah, and it's competitive, right? Because how many buyers do we think are out there right now below 200 Beaverdale? That's kind of like, I bet you, okay, quick poll, in this room, how many people have a buyer looking for under $200,000 in Beaverdale? So Jill, that's your competition.
Yeah.
Slash
Oh,
Lower
man.
Beaver. Will they accept Lower Beaver or only Beaver?
Dang, if I'm the Beaverdale seller under 200, I got 3
Yeah.
I should say Studley and Studley agents. That's tough, right? I don't know who, you guys, that's some competition, right? And so my challenge to Jill, my challenge to anyone, and not even like doing this because of the necessity, because it's hard to find your buyer a house. I would do this to create opportunities. Back to Newton's third law, for every action, there's an equal opposite, there's a reaction. You can do a little handwritten note, especially if you know parameters. Beaverdale is, 30th block to, I don't know, 50th block, you think, T-Bear? Something like around there, all depending on the angle of, Beaver. So you can, find it, especially coming up in like Christmas time, there's some really cute streets that everyone wants to be on. And that's where the matrix comes in handy, right? What we can do is, if we know that on average, everyone's staying in their house 3 to 5 years, minus that appreciation, if they're looking for 200, maybe you gotta look for homes that sold like 150 and below, maybe, because they gotta be able to afford commission and all that stuff. But doing a little handwritten note saying, hi, I'm Joe Buden, I'm with Remax Concepts. I have this super cute family that's looking for their picturesque Beaverdale bungalow, and this is their budget, and this is who they are, and this is where they're moving from. If you would have any interest in selling, I'd love to help. And it being handwritten would be awesome, but you can also copy that, right, to make it look that like they're all handwritten, put them in the mail, spend, how much is a stamp now, guys?
46 cents.
46 cents, and do that. Has anyone ever done that with any luck?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Cameron? And-
55.
Yeah, recently? I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick on Cameron, can you share your?
Within the last year, so actually it was kind of ironic, so it's helping a family member,
I just thought of it.
and it was the house that they grew up in. And so, and the only reason that they would move, they would want to move was if they can buy their childhood home.
Yeah,
And so I'm like, well, shit, I'm gonna mail them a letter. And sure enough, I got a listing appointment out of it.
ooh,
It took a year and a half, so I mailed him a letter, nice little handwritten letter saying, hey, if you're, this is the story, this is the backstory. If you're ever thinking about moving, I would love to just chat with you.
Yeah.
And it took a year and a half, but a year and a half later, he called me up and he's like, hey, I've been sitting on this for a while and I think I'm ready to move.
and you made a deal,
Yeah.
awesome. Lindsay, what's your story?
I have a client that, he was my $1.5 million client that cut me out of the building. But he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna wanna buy a loft downtown. So I've been trying to find a white line loft because he specifically wants white line. So I ended up, my assistant went through and got every single, like he already knows that building. And so she did all the addresses and then she created something in Canva and did a postcard, something like, are you ready to move? I have your buyer, or something like that.
Catchy.
And I got, we went and we looked last week, and if my client, it sounds like he might choose this one, because then I got another pocket from somebody else. If he chooses that one, then that FSBO seller or whatever, I might have the potential to sell them the penthouse.
Woohoo,
So-
booyah. Wait,
Yeah.
so how many postcards in total did you send?
I think I could have sent 56, but they came in increments of 50, so we just sent 50.
So a couple $100 in stamps.
Not even
Oh,
that.
wait, $20. Stamps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I did my math too quick.
Yeah, I think I did all of it for under 50 bucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did my math like,
Uh-huh.
I've been doing like too
That's
many
okay,
zeros
I
lately.
looked up stamps for 46 cents.
I don't really
Maybe that was
calculate
a
cents
postcard
anymore.
stamp.
But that's okay. So,
So hopefully,
yeah, so you might get 2 deals on that. So if you haven't done it, it's worth the time and energy, especially if you have the time and the energy, right, to do that. And having that just part of your habits when you're working with a buyer, I do promise you that it's gonna help you grow. And that's one of the missions that we have this next year, is to create different ways, ideas, systems to help you grow by at least 20%. So our average agent's done 24, 25 deals by these things that we're talking about. Next thing you know, you're gonna pick up that extra sale month. Right, Jacqueline?
Yeah.
Okay. And someone have a question? Someone raise their hand? Okay, number 3, phone and voicemail, especially if you have phone numbers. RedX does provide voicemails, or phone numbers, I'm sorry. Your CRM has them too. So if you want to just do what we call a slide, or not we, but the company's called Slide Dial or Slide Broadcast, what you could do is send out pre-recorded voicemails. A lot of these ideas, guys, are going to be new to you. You haven't ever heard them before, and you haven't done them before. Now, I'm not going to say I created all these ideas. This is a creation of lots of the coaches out there, Buffini, Ferry, Robertson. These are things that are tried and tested by our own agents. But there's a lot of things on here, guys, that's going to take you out of your comfort zone. And you guys have heard me say this in the past. You know, hesitant salespeople have skinny kids. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So by not picking up the phone call, especially if you're rolling in 2020 and you feel like you're broke, you know, look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I didn't pick up the phone. Because with a slide out, what you can do is say, hi, this is Umax, say with Remax Concepts. We have clients interested in homes in your area. My clients are pre-approved and ready to go. If you or anyone you know is interested in selling, please give me a call. So the benefit of this slide out product is it will automatically send that out for you. You don't have to actually, I'm nervous to call. I hope they don't pick up. And you know, most of us are adverse to cold calling. So this is just one way to solve that problem. Has anyone ever done something like that before? Barry? Want to share your results?
Well, I just use Slide Broadcast, like you said, but I use it primarily with my sphere of influence, just as a speed item more than anything, you know, so.
Yeah, that's a great pro tip. Jen Sambro, one of the reasons why she probably got a standing ovation, uses that too. Number 4, digital door knocking. Number 5, we're gonna talk about real door knocking. Digital door knocking, though, with today's technology, with the internet, with Google pay-per-clicks, with social media, with boosted and targeted Facebook ads, there's so many ways to target certain areas, zip codes. And so think about what you're trying to do, whether you're leveraging a buy or trying to generate some seller leads. Think of that as your new door knocking. YouTube also is a great, I don't know if you guys watch videos on YouTube, but I have definitely seen a lot of local commercials on YouTube. I haven't seen a ton, if any, real estate commercials, but I definitely see local businesses. I see car commercials all the time on YouTube. Like, wow, get doing for it's on YouTube. So many people are on YouTube watching these videos, so you got to be where your clients, your potential clients are. And we can talk more. A lot of this is pretty advanced, so we can talk more about that too. We have a lot of training coming up with social series and different marketing tactics. Real door knocking. Now this is an old traditional that definitely still works. Anyone in here ever door knocked before? With success? I'm gonna pick on Cindy. Can you share?
Well, I was from a smaller community in Winterset, so it wasn't strictly cold calling. Sometimes I might know who it is that lives in that house, but I got 2 listings sales, 24-hour sales by doing it.
Wow, that's way.
Just because I know a little bit about the house, I know what price range they are, and we were having problems finding houses for buyers. So I let I let another agent, I would farm for her because she had the buyer, I didn't. And that's how I did it.
I love that. Okay, remind me, I'm gonna talk about other people's buyers because I think that's an opportunity that a lot of us aren't thinking outside the box to use. Anyone else want to share a door knocking story? That was a great one. So 2 24-hour sales because you, that's pretty awesome. That's a great rate. That's great.
I didn't have any.
No luck?
None.
Not yet, but we will, right? Okay, so real door knocking. And I'm all about efficiencies too, guys. So place a sticky note, branded and pre-printed would be awesome with your business card on the door. And then it could say something like this: hi, I drove by your home and have a client that would love to take a look at it if you'd be interested in selling. They're pre-approved, ready to go. You can call me at. And so you can definitely have a sticky note, and you can definitely write that every time you see a house that you think is cute and your clients would like. Or what you can do, pro tip, is get one of those notepad looking thingies, handwrite it in your handwriting, or send, like a lot of there's programs out there make it look like it's handwritten, and then that's part of your system, right? And so you have a stack of those, and whether you're going from appointment to appointment, or you're on your way home, or whatever, back to who else has a buyer right now that they're really having problems trying to find a house for? I'll go with Julie.
An acreage
Okay.
for 400 within Grimes, Granger.
Okay. So what I would suggest to Julie, especially if you have the time or energy, so acreage 400 or under in Granger, Grimes.
Or Perry.
Okay, or Perry. So 3 areas. Now there's a lot of door knocking, and that's gonna be a bigger, distance. Again, pick your battles. Pick your battles. So 400. So I would say let's work backwards. So today's market value, their budget's 400, right? So 5 or 7 years ago, those people might have bought $375 or under, right? With I just did 3% appreciation. I should ask John that because he probably calculated that in his head real fast. But so what you could do then is, you said Grimes, Dallas Center, Perry?
Yeah, down to Perry.
I heard Granger
She
was
works
one
for
of them.
Grimes.
Yep.
So doesn't want too far of a commute.
Yeah, and so what we could do is go back that 3+ years and find anyone that's bought anything like that, even like 375 and under,
Yeah.
because a lot of times too, and I talk about this with buyers will say, hey, my budget is 400,000, and then that tells us that their payments around 3,000 a month, right, roughly PITI. But then also, for every 1,000 you go up or down, it's $4 to $5, right? So, to go from 400 to 425 for the right home, I think a lot of our clients are willing to go up a little bit too, right? And then just because, it's listed for X, or you think they want that, everything's negotiable, right? I was actually shocked. We had Nora's not in this room, but she had a Dreamscape lead for me, and this client wants to buy 2 lots. Combine these 2 lots together, or like 340. They offered 280, and sure enough, they responded at 305. So you just never know, right? You just never know. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But what we could do in that scenario, though, is step 1 is create a list of houses that would fit their range. We can do direct mail. We can do the phone calls if we get the red X and find the numbers. But back to this door knocking, if you just see like the cutest acreage home in Perry, Iowa, and you think it's perfect for your client, again, I think, just having that as a system, knock on their door. If they're there, great. If they're not, put it on, and you never know.
Yeah.
That make sense so far? Brian?
So, I mean, the MLS only goes back so far, so what are you using?
10 years.
Are you using like Realist or?
Uh,
Because there's a ton of properties that you're passing up on, especially when we're talking about those acreages and things like that. I mean, probably plenty of properties that haven't been sold in 12 years.
yeah.
Or were sold for sub-owner and didn't make it on the MLS, all that. So are you using Realist?
Anyone have any suggestions on what to use outside of the MLS? Because the MLS only goes back 10 years, right? So Realist, anyone ever use Realist to do that? I think Realist would be great. I'm not sure if Red X, Cameron, if Red X gives you that functionality?
I didn't play too much. I only dabbled in because both of them expired, so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The assessor's page?
Yeah, you might be, in Polk County, you might be able to do that because they're the most robust assessors page, but if it's Dallas or Warren, it's probably tough.
Yeah, assessor's page. So I would try there first, but I'd say let's do a next step, Brian. If that's something that we need to figure out more opportunities, because yeah, you guys are right. There's not a lot of things that aren't on the MLS, they're not recorded on the MLS. So, but that's where like being so specific with what your clients are looking for, knowing what they want, and again, back to time, energy, and money. If we have those things and we, have, especially a $400,000 sale, right, Julie, hopefully at a 3%, if not more.
Yeah.
Commission rate.
When she's got MS, so we need to get something ranch, easy
Mhm.
acceptable, but hubby wants no one around.
Mhm.
So like, we're just struggling. She wants to be close, but he wants to be far out. And we
Yeah.
even went to like St. Charles, we've done Winterset, and then finally we decided it's too far of a drive, but
Mhm.
we've kind of scoured
Yeah.
everything, trying to figure out.
Acreages are harder to do the door knocking and this and that, but for a $400,000 sale at a 3%, gross commissions can be 12 grand. If our hourly worth is $120 an hour, I mean, that's a pretty good investment
Well,
of
and then I
time.
do their house rate list too. So
Oh,
hopefully we can get
Yeah,
all that.
yeah. So digital door knocking, real door knocking. Number 6, agent to agent referrals. How many in this room have got referrals from agents outside of our market? I know Lindsay got a referral, seller referrals, that is. It happens, right? I mean, Des Moines is growing. Des Moines, I think when we had the leadership, the Greater Des Moines Leadership Group come in, we were just under 2% in growth. I think we created like 13,000 or added 13,000 households. So people are moving here. We are very lucky and fortunate that Des Moines is adding jobs. It's a great place to live, the school systems, the safety things. What I'm seeing a lot of too, I'm sure you guys are all seeing this, is the kids that graduated from Iowa State, any type of Iowa college, they were born and raised in Iowa, they needed to go outside just for a little bit, right? They needed to go to Kansas City, Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver, and then guess what though? They got married and they had a kid or kids and they want to be back closer to family. I've seen a ton of that. And so being smart and strategic and adding, again, this is a system, but adding agents outside of our market to your database, so little CRM category, I think it's a super smart thing. There was an agent a few years ago from Kansas City, a RE/MAX agent, he drove up. I don't know if he drove up for the day or a few days, but I talked to him for like 15 minutes. He was a go-getter. And he just said, hey, I can't remember his name now, real nice guy. But he literally put his postcard, his business card in everyone's mailboxes, the whole, and he focused on RE/MAX. And I hope he got a deal for all the hard work that he did. But just think about different ways that you can do that. And you don't have to go to all the agents, you can go to broker owners. The 4 of us, we get leads, I shouldn't say we get leads, but we do get asked maybe once every few months at least. We might say, hey, someone's looking for an agent. So be proactive. How many in this room went to IAR and met some friends and hopefully exchanged business cards? That's a great referral source, right? And once you're in, who in this room has or will be going to R4 in Vegas? That's okay, still early. Who in this room has met any of our agents from Quad Cities or Cedar Rapids? Those are great referral sources, right? And they're really nice. And the cool thing about it is you can just say, hey, can we reciprocate? If I have a buyer looking to move to Davenport, can I send them your name? What are they gonna say? 100% yes. And then because of the law of reciprocation, they feel like they owe you. So who's gonna be their person when they have someone coming our way? So build a list, create a marketing campaign. You don't need to, campaign the crap out of them, but you definitely can, maybe do something every other month, once a quarter at least, just to check in. And then also just make sure that on our Remax network sites within Lead Street that you fill out your profile and make it look as attractive as possible, because the other way that we've said is, if you don't know an agent in an area, you go log on to your Remax.net account and you can search that way too. So make sure you have pictures and your bio and designations and all that fun stuff. How are we doing on time? I'm only at 7.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay, social media polls on Facebook, Instagram. I want to challenge you guys because this is a simple, super fast way. Post, are you living in your dream home now? Yes or no? Are you thinking about selling your home this holiday season? Yes or no? And then those that say yes or no, depending on what the question was, they just kind of raise their hand, right? I am actually. Especially just do that on your own personal page to your, how many people in here have at least 500 friends on Facebook? At least 1,000 friends, at least a couple thousand friends. I mean, you never know who you're gonna get. And the thing that stinks about a lot of our friends and family members, they are thinking now about selling, but when they come to January, February, you're maybe one of 2 or 3 agents that they're gonna call. So if I just posted something like that to be proactive, maybe you slide in the number 1 position, and then you can put them on your seller drip campaign, send them the Remax ready to sell videos. Number 8, focus on seniors. Create a seminar called Big to Small House. Use Facebook or direct mail. I got this from Tom Ferry. Target your SOI. Many of my friends in my sphere of influence that are in their 30s and 40s, their parents are, definitely ready to downsize. And so by being the senior housing specialist, by being able to really help them with that right sizing, that downsizing, by having the knowledge that you all have with, how they can transition and stage their home and market their home and find a house that's, minimal steps, or it's a condo downtown, or maybe they're ready to go to Arizona. That'd be cool, right? Sell their home, send a referral to an agent in Arizona. So think about those things. But by creating the seminar, I'm not saying that you need to go above and beyond and spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Maybe it's just a webinar, but just by having, or maybe it's just a little toolkit, senior selling guide, whatever it is, it's just one more campaign to be on top of your mind, top of the mind of your people. Does that make sense? On unoccupied and investors, this one is a little easier said than done, but this one I think could be definitely fun, especially if you want to do some whale hunting with big multifamily properties. I noticed you own several properties in this area. Congratulations. I work with several clients and investors, helping them with property acquisitions and trades. If you'd like to be on my list for future investment opportunities, or would like to look at liquidating any, I'd love to help. Has anyone done that, or anyone work with investors that are looking for a specific type of property? So again, this is maybe above and beyond trying to attract sellers, but if you have any type of passion or interest, right, Yazzie? I think you had some interest in that. I am picking on her because she was texting during the festival.
You don't believe what I'm doing right now.
You're making a deal. She's
I
making a
am
deal.
actually on Waterford.
Yeah, awesome.
Exactly.
See, you come to training and you make deals. But anyways, I think the reason I picked on Yazzie is you want to start working with clients and investors, right? And so the best way to do that is to really kind of put yourself out there and start networking with those individuals. And some of the reasons why I put acquisitions, trades, liquidating, when you're talking with investors, you kind of got to speak their language. Make sense? On to number 10, influencer or celebrity review. Doesn't have to be like Kim Kardashian or Michael Jordan. School principals, city officials, business owners, create a video, a written review from the endorsee with you in them would be awesome. Who's my guy? He helped me buy or sell. I mean, if you have a lot of these people in our database, they are influencers. They know a lot of people, and some of these influencers are also like, this new trend of Instagram influencers or YouTube. There's a lot locally, or wannabes that are local. So partner with them, be within their little circle, because they tag you, you tag them, next thing you know, you're going out to their, big wide network. And so think about those things, and then once you have them, of course, add them to your website, add them to your social page, really promote that connection. Anyone done that with any luck? Not yet? Okay. Sign up for seller attraction sites, HomeLight, UpNest. Anyone using any of those two websites? Jen, Lindsay, you guys have any luck? Any listings, any business from it? It is like a downstream thing, just to be on there and to update your profile and have all the things that you need. That's step one. So kudos to you too.
UpNest is like, I finally got a lead like 2 weeks ago, and I spent 2 hours just doing the proposal thing, and then I didn't even get any feedback or response.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah, and that's like with anything. There's 30 plus ways here, so pick your battles and then monitor your ROI. I've been doing that with a lot of you guys in this room. You're spending X dollars per month or per year, and you're getting nil for it. Now, that's not a good ROI. Or you're getting a 10X return. That's awesome, right? So just monitor the time and energy that you spend on a lot of these things. But then also just don't eliminate it because it didn't work, because sometimes you gotta look at the tactics. Sometimes you gotta try, okay, did version A work or did version B work? Could my wording have been better? Was this message about the customer, the client, or was it about me? Those are all things that are really super advanced art and science of marketing, and we can definitely help you with that. Concepts, buyers, client compound, we talked about that earlier. Doing a video ad, letter communicating current buyers that we have. Actually, no. This was me taking it to the next level. So when you guys all raise your hands, everyone in this room had at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buyers. But one thing, and hold me accountable because I've been meaning to do this for the last week, what I'd love to do is post on First to Know and ask everyone, hey, can everyone just make a comment on how many clients you're working with right now that are looking and what they're looking for? Because there's definitely no harm in foul. So like back to Julie, right? Julie has this buyer up to 400, Dallas Center, Grimes, Perry. There's no shame in me doing what I just mentioned earlier, mining my database, looking on Zillow, looking on For Sale by Owner. And guess what? What if I find a house that would be perfect for Julie's client, but she hasn't found it yet? I might approach that seller and say, hey, you know what? I have an agent in my company. She has a super awesome buyer. The wife has MS, unfortunately, so they're really needing that perfect home. The husband doesn't want any neighbors. And so what we would do if you are interested in selling is we need to make sure Julie gets paid. So we need to make sure there's at least 3 and 3.5%. And for me, just helping with that transaction, I'm going to give you a discount. I'll only charge you 10%. No, just kidding. But whatever it is, that's a cool thing. Yeah, but that's a cool thing with us, right? You guys can work your deals. So I would love for you guys all to match. And I think it's legitimate. You brought value, right? They are wanting to sell their home. They would have listed at 6%, but you're bringing them a direct buyer. Think about the value there. They didn't have to list their house. They didn't have to paint. They didn't have to stage it. They didn't have to put a lockbox and a sign in the yard. They didn't have to clean it 10 times before every showing. You brought them a ready, willing, able buyer, swoop right in, did a 24-hour sale. Well, what's that worth, right? So I bet you our company, if we have 200 plus agents and at least 1 buyer per agent, I think we're better. I think we have at least 2 to 3, right? So I bet you we have like 600 to 700 buyers out there in our little network of agents, right? That why not get some people to raise their hand and say, yeah, I'd be willing to sell. And heck yeah, what better than to have a concept to concepts deal, right? Mm-hmm. So think outside the box. So can someone hold me accountable? Put that on the to-do list. Udo. That's a good one.
I'll use that one.
How about a to-do? Wait, what was Cameron's? What was yours?
Right,
Oh yeah, get Udo instead of get. Would you like which one? Udo.
Is Client Compound the name of your guys' private Facebook page?
No, it's First to Know. Is a Client Compound is just what I kind of created, this Client Compound strategy. Okay, so it's on my Udo list. But no, I mean, don't you guys, is that a smart idea though? I mean, do you think that's something, it's another talking point, right? To people say, oh, and all of a sudden, like the busier we see, or not, I don't want to say the word busier, but the more clients we have, isn't that attractive to our friends? So, I think that's a great idea. For sale by owner, this is back to super basic, one of the basic fundamentals. For sale by owners, ask them if they're willing to work with a buyer's agent first. Set them up on a drip campaign, preview the home. The thing with for sale by owners, and the reason why people get so scared about for sale by owners, is we think we're going right for the jugular. We think we're going for that 6 to 7% listing, right? It's gotta be one step at a time. So first and foremost, we gotta see if they're even willing to work with us if we have a buyer, right? And that doesn't mean that we have to do a cold call and hope they don't pick up the phone. When I used to work for sale by owners back in 2010, 11, 12, I could equate 10% of my business to for sale by owners. What I would do is I would go on those websites that I mentioned. I would say, hi, I'm Umexe. I'm a local real estate agent with Remax Concepts. I have a pre-approved buyer that is looking for a home that has a lot of the features that your home has. If I were to bring this buyer and we were to be able to put together an agreement, a purchase agreement, would you be willing to pay me 3.5%? Question mark. Please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing back. And it was a canned message. So I copy and paste. You can do that in Zillow. I think there's like a little thing that they might even say, yes, I'm willing to work with a buyer's agent. You gotta be careful on, don't want to spam them if there's like on some of the sites, you're not supposed to spam them. But again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? And so if they said yes, what I would do is great. I'd love to preview the house. I would never take my buyers with me to the first, because that preview is I want to make sure it fits for my buyers. I don't want to just show them a house and waste everyone's time. But then B, during that process, I'm building rapport. I'm understanding their mindset. I'm also demonstrating myself as an agent. And maybe if they do, hopefully, want to list, they're going to pick me to list, right? Because a third of for sale by owners are eventually going to list within, the next few weeks. 67% plus end up listing ultimately. And so think about those things, and it's a super slick system. So back to the buyers that you have, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not just doing that one simple step. And then when they do say yes, we have that unrepresented form. So I always send that. I would never show a house without getting that form in front of them, getting them to sign that form, filing that form, so that we have that when we're gonna write an offer. Does that kind of make sense? Anyone have any luck with doing something like that? Ryan, didn't you do something like that after we met one day? And
Yeah, no, I did. I ended up getting him in a deal, and that was terrible.
but not because of me. Not that deal. It was a different house. That was that house?
Well, no, I had success with a few of them. That one we ended up putting in an offer, and yeah.
On that for sale by owner though.
She was a nutcase.
But that almost still worked though, right? The idea
worked. The idea works.
Hey, I can't control crazy, but I can control that idea. And that was your cousin, wasn't it? No, not the seller, but the buyer.
No, that was for a different one.
Okay.
I mean, because I legitimately got like 7 or 8 responses, so it was good. It was good.
7 or 8 leads?
It was good.
Good.
It was good. It just, that particular one with asbestos siding over on 51st is just a little out there.
Carrie, you say something?
I've done a couple businesses in my career, and I was like, I didn't go and pre-look at it though, but I did send the form first in the email and make sure I got it back as to what they would compensate me beforehand, so.
Yeah.
It does work. It's hard though, because most of them are, especially when it comes to the inspection and stuff, because you're really not representing them, but
Yeah.
it can work.
Yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can.
If it was all easy, I think it'd be like 1,000 real estate agents, right? And everyone be rolling to these meetings and your Rolls Royces and.
Did you say initially you called though, or was that just how
I
you
always
had it?
just did a canned message, just because that was quick and the quickest, fastest way.
Okay,
Like
gotcha.
Slider?
No, just like a copy paste in Zillow or in Craigslist. I would
Like
just,
more information.
yeah, electronic message, yeah. But you could slide dial, you definitely could, or you could
can't do
definitely,
that for more information, because then it connects into an agent, I think.
No, unless you
No,
choose to
just
go to the
because you can
seller.
contact the for sale by owner direct and ask them a question.
It's the last little option on the things.
I didn't.
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
I made that mistake and then they should call me. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
too. I know that's so awkward. They were pissed, but
I called it like 10 seconds of me hitting send, so somebody was on top of it on the other side.
So let's say it works out and you end up writing an offer on that. That's a win-win. Let's say it doesn't, the house doesn't match, right? Mr. and Mrs. So, thank you so much for letting me preview your home. Thanks for letting me snap a few pictures. I did share this home with my clients, and unfortunately, that house didn't meet some of their criteria. I wish you all the best. I know when we spoke, you didn't have a seller's disclosure, so I've included a seller's disclosure for your use. Follow. Oh, by the way, also I noticed that there's a couple things that I would suggest you look at. So here's my handyman's information. Oh, by the way, I know we talked and you said that you could use some referrals for a painter or a plumber or electrician. Oh, by the way, value. Who's a superstar in their eyes? And then also we've set them up with a seller campaign. They're ready to fit to sell videos. And that's a lot of value. And let's say they they get lucky and they sell their house for sale by owner, or they don't have the equity to pay you commission. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, during the preview stage, the report building stage, where are you thinking about moving to? Oh, do you have an agent helping you do that? Oh, did you know that I'd be more than happy to help you do that? Most situations like yours, sellers will pay for commission. I am a specialist in that area. I help clients buy acreages in Madrid, Perry, Dallas Center. I've actually got a few, listings that are coming online because my network of 250 agents has, hundreds of opportunities in that area. Value, right? And, especially if they don't have any, they already have said that they're not using an agent, or they don't have a number one agent on the for sale by owner side. So why not try to be their agent on the buyer side? And it was how long did it take me to say that? 15, 20 seconds? That's it. It's a yes, no thing. If they say yes, that's awesome. If no, on to the next person. Okay. Expired listings. BombBomb. Anyone using BombBomb in this room? I would highly recommend checking it out. There is a cost to it. It's a monthly cost. We have it at Concepts, so that's when you see Shane's mug on those videos. We're using BombBomb. And so similar process to for sale by owners, but the reason why I'm suggesting BombBomb, not just for expireds and for sale by owners, a lot of times you see Jen's face, you see Yaz's face, you see Cameron's face, nice, beautiful faces, but when you guys open up and talk and start speaking articulately, eloquently about real estate, and that you're a local market expert and that you know how to negotiate, you know how to market, all of a sudden you're providing value that an email or even like a phone call doesn't really help you provide. So the more they know about you and your brand, the higher conversion rate goes up. So think about being on video. I know a lot of you guys are not as comfortable as Taco Tuesday over here, Cameron, but again, it's just getting outside your comfort zone. I will tell you, everyone in this room, if you guys are on video, I'd watch it. If I was a seller, it would help me make my decision that much higher towards listing with you guys. So do it, get comfortable with it. Videos in 21st century, your competition is doing. Lots of agents like Taco Tuesday are doing these videos, and next thing you know, they already know Cameron, right? Cameron, they already kind of know you, they already like you. They're like, oh man, I'd love to work with that guy, he's fun. Cindy?
I just have a comment that I've noticed over the years, making myself, that people, when they show a listing, they don't leave their cards. I've gotten 2 listings in the last year because I always left my cards. And even though I wasn't the agent when it expired, or they were getting upset with their agent, I got that listing because I just left my business card.
I love that. Well,
So-
I'm guilty because I don't leave cards. I don't even have cards. But anyways, the cards that I like that I see when I'm showing is like a little note, right? Just like, so you leave your card on the back of it, say, thank you for letting us show your home. Beautiful house. And if they leave cookies, you say thanks for the cookies. And does that make you memorable? Yeah. Is that house 100% going to sell during that listing period? Unfortunately for the seller, no, right? And so you just opened up an opportunity, and obviously that's great.
So it's old fashioned, but it still works.
But that's why I clean all the cards from my new construction homes once a week. I just go along.
Well, with your listing, go ahead and do that. When you're the showing agent.
Well, what do you do? Yes?
Throw away. My builder cleans his own home, so I just go in before him and take it off the counter all the time.
Yeah, you definitely can do that.
And I say, as a listing agent, prepare your clients for what is gonna happen too, because they're like, oh, they're trying to steal me away from you, Lindsay, and I'm like, yeah, they're doing that to let you know they were there.
But you can also tell your sellers, when
I
you
don't know
leave
how
the
much
business
BombBomb
cards
is.
out,
I'm
and the other ones
honestly
are going
visit,
through,
it's all
they're like, oh, it's been shown a lot, especially if it hasn't been on the market long. And if they're on the fence, it does kind of make them eager to do something.
Okay. All right, let's keep rolling. We have 3 minutes left, Michelle. You guys okay if we go a little bit longer? Do they get 1.5 credits? How many credits do we get for today?
The state says one.
Okay. Hey, guys, I'm the master negotiator. I'm looking to try to get some more. Client appreciation drawing. Incentives for your SOI to give you both buyer and seller referrals. Be creative and think big and small. Do this as an email, video, mail. I did client appreciation drawings as part of my monthly newsletter, thanking people for referrals, thanking people for liking my business page, thanking people for writing a review. There's no harm involved by doing a client appreciation drawing for people that are giving reviews. It's a drawing. I did double check this with Lance too, just because, you know, when you give someone something, right, Barry, for a referral, we can't do that. But when you put them in, their name into a drawing, you can definitely do that. And what better way to show appreciation, but then also incent people to give you more referrals by doing this.
So we did this in a class. You can give them something for that referral. You just can't offer that. You can't say that.
You can't entice, yeah.
Right.
You can thank people.
You can't say thank you for the referral.
You say
Right.
You can't say,
Yes,
you
you
know,
can.
$1,000 for every referral you give me. You can't
Right,
say
you
that.
can't say that. You can't say, I will give you this if you give me that. But you can say, here is this, thank you. You can absolutely.
Thank you for your support.
But
So
then
we stole, Amber Solomon, was that how you pronounce her last name?
Solomon.
We stole her idea on, using, like, basically, so now whenever we get one in our newsletter, we send it out, thanking whoever gave us the referral.
Yeah.
And saying what they won.
Yeah.
And it's got more referrals.
Yeah.
So-
So what I was saying is think big and small. So at a bare minimum, if someone gives you a referral, you know, whether it closes or not, you give them some sort of gift card. Subway, gas, Starbucks. That's small. Medium is, you know, part of what I was suggesting with my monthly client appreciation drawings was a family 4-pack to Disney on Ice or Flicks Brewery, some sort of Visa gift card, $100, $200, right? Especially if you're asking for, you know, or trying to inspire and motivate. But thinking big too, I borrowed this from Tom Ferry, is his was like a quarterly drawing, and he was giving away like a trip to Hawaii and Cabo. And so that's a little big, but back to the return, right? We're getting returns and we're getting all these referrals and we're building up our business. You know, I was telling, I think it was Jacqueline, or I know I've talked to a lot of you guys, 5 to 10% of your gross income should be towards marketing. So think about some fun things that are memorable, but that really incent people to get you those referrals. That make sense? Does that sound like a good idea? Good? Okay, daily seller prospecting routine. So this is a system that includes all the things we're talking about, but waking up and time blocking this. This time will be worth every minute that you spend on it, but role playing, warm up. So instead of just first thing you do when you wake up is get on the phone, we all wake up and our voices are crackly and this and that, and you're like, oh my gosh, my mind's still sleeping, right? So think through mentally and verbally what you're gonna say. Be warmed up, don't practice on your people. And then call the old and new expireds, call for sale by owners, call your sphere of influence, follow up with leads. We are still in a contact sport where the phone that we all have is the #1 way to get in front of people, right? Just gotta make the phone calls. Relocation, communicate to your sphere of influence that you can help with relocation. We have built a relocation, network that we're pretty much able to help with most places. So we just need to make sure that our friends at John Deere, our friends at Principal, our friends at Pioneer, whatever companies they work at, that when they do go to sell and then they try to set them up with a relocation agent that isn't with us, we can try to swoop in there. And for whatever reason, if you're getting any roadblocks, call any of us. We have beaten out iRealties. Was that?
Big roadblocks on John Deere,
Yes.
3 times.
We've been working on it.
My
It's
husband
not
works there
happening.
and it's killing me. I have people that want to use me.
We'll keep working on it. I know we've been working on it, but let me write that down as a follow-up. But anyways, that's a key thing too, is like, I know Maria and Andrea just got a relo from Ernst & Young, right, a relo deal. Like, so we can work with lots of companies, but a lot of times your people in your sphere of influence don't know that you can help them in those relocations. They think they have to go through these other brokerages that we have better agents than, and they go to the iRealties, the Berkshires, and Coldwells just because they quote unquote are the relocation agent. No, that's BS. We can definitely help, but step one is to make sure your people know that you can do that. Make sense? Seller seminar or webinar, thinking about selling, free seminar on pricing, staging, marketing, negotiating, closing. Again, this is another marketing tactic, another campaign to make sure that everyone in your SOI, and if you boost this on your social media pages online, they know that you have the systems to help them sell their house. Partner program with newer agents, brand new agents. Sometimes, our new agents are afraid to list that first $1 million lead that they get, or that acreage that has a septic on it because they don't know anything about septics. So making sure that you're networking with the newer agents too, to say, hey, if you ever need help, if you ever find yourself in a pickle and you just need help, I'd be happy to co-list, right? Is it gonna turn into something? Maybe, maybe not. But again, this 100% of shots we don't take. Facebook and Instagram live in front of sold signs, Facebook and Instagram live in front of new listings. I think that's, again, things that we need to do for our sellers for a servicing standpoint. Next thing you know, you've got something to talk about. You're standing in front of your new listing, and then next thing you know, you're standing in front of your new listing that you just sold. I think that's super powerful. I think it's social proofing your business. So make sure you're doing those.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Does anyone recommend a device to hold your camera so that you don't, like the camera you use?
Yeah, I use the S Move, yeah.
What is it?
S Move, I'm buying one. They're
S
like,
Move?
yeah, they're like $200, but it's a selfie stick stabilizer.
It is, okay.
Yeah, I just bought a different one. I'll sleeve my old one.
What? How much?
They're like $100.
What are
I'll give it to you
they?
for 150.
So it just basically holds it,
Yeah, and it's a gyro thing, or got a gimbal on it so you can move it around. It's real smooth.
because every time I do it, I'm like, oh, I can see like doing
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And one thing, this is more my pet peeve, like a lot of times, or sometimes agents would go vertical instead of portrait, is that portrait, right? So.
Does it matter though which, what you're
Landscape.
doing,
You want the
Landscape, yeah, landscape.
where you're publishing to?
I don't
It does,
think so.
because Instagram prefers vertical.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so does Facebook now.
Oh, really?
Facebook has switched. It used to prefer landscape.
Yeah.
Now it prefers
Well-
vertical, otherwise it's gonna cut it off.
Okay, so I'm glad you guys brought this up, because these videos don't just have to be live. If anything, I'm gonna strike the fact that I said go live. Just do the video in front of it, and that way you can take it like 3 or 4 times. And then that way too, the quality I feel is better when you're, like my impromptu videos are all recorded on my phone. If I were to go live on them, I just don't think sometimes the bandwidth or whatever, I feel like the quality is real pixelated with live, so.
It is, but again, Facebook likes
Yeah.
live video. Like, I mean, more people are going to see that.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
kind of
people
a-
can relate to you better that way too.
Live?
Instead of, yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
think
like you one time showed your bloopers because of the fact that you didn't go live,
Yeah.
right? I mean, people see them and you're like, then you get more views.
Yeah.
I think that's why some agents hesitate to do video though, because they're afraid of live.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'd rather not do that and edit this out, so.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep rolling. Number 22, advertising, YouTube and radio. This is more advanced stuff. This is more, if you've got the funds to spend, but definitely, like I was saying earlier, there's some great opportunities with just general advertising. So Morning, are you thinking about selling your home in 2020? Contact UMEX or Remax Concepts at or sellyourhouse.com. With over X seller reviews, I have the experience and marketing skills to help you. This year, our company team has sold X homes. Just year, you got 5, 10, 15 seconds, whatever. Throw it out there. Number 23 and 24 are similar. Target divorce and estate attorneys. Someone in this room, was that you, Cameron? I remember that. But we don't want to be ambulance chasers per se, but there are business opportunities with that. Unfortunately, in the state of Iowa, there's over 40% divorce rate. So it happens, unfortunately. But by networking, and creating those opportunities, you just never know. In that same token, contractors, vendors, I had a listing lead early this year from one of my trim carpenters. One of my current listings right now is my irrigation guy. They know people, right? So whoever you're using for any type of services, that law of reciprocation. Other real estate professionals, we got pretty deep in this last week. Are you getting leads from your lenders? Or even backing up, are you asking for leads from your lenders? Because if you're not, they're probably not trained or thinking about you. So think about appraisers, title, insurance agents, inspectors, and more. Ask any of the seller campaigns, things like that. I mean, they're sending us stuff, right? Your lenders, interest rates and market updates and newsletters. why not in turn send them and ask them for leads as well? Geo farming, we had the Q4 a few weeks ago about direct mail. So this is pretty much a recap of that. Creating a home radius of 25, 50, 125, 250, whatever your budget allows. Postcards, we need to do it consistent, at least 5 to 6 times. Coming soon, just listed, open house invitation, review cards, just sold. We have more buyers, market updates. 20 adopt agents who are leaving the business. Jen, just got a good story about that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Want to share that real quick?
I don't know how I say if I'm kind of took over the book of business for the Toonstras basically as they retired.
Yeah.
And they were really slow early in the year, but then as soon as they retired and started working with me on something.
And made the announcement, you guys did some marketing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we
some
did.
collab marketing.
And also all these listings started coming out of the woodwork, so it's been great.
Yeah. You think about the average agent in DMAR or the average agent across the country, it's like 54, 57?
54-year-old woam is the national
Yeah.
average for an
Yep.
agent.
So as they start to
Never gonna make it.
that's me in 13 years outside of the woman part. But not just retiring
That can't
agents, you think about brand new agents, right? Brand new agents, the success rate of brand new agents is very, very low. Even if agents have made it past year 1, there's a lot of probabilities they're gonna make it to year 3 or 4 or 5. So if you can, build those relationships, whether it's a concepts agent or someone that you've done a deal with, and say, hey, I see that you're going out of the business or whatever, right? Try to figure out a way to partner with their database. I'll give you an example of someone that I did this with was Naomi Babel. Anyone know Naomi?
Mhm.
She used to be one of the owners of Concepts, actually. I bought her share of Mill Civic, and she went into the cupcake business. And one of the first things that her and I worked together on was taking her database and introducing me as an agent. And sure enough, I think that year I got like 4 or 5 deals. And so think about that strategy, because back to Jen and Sandy and Jerry Toonstra, they did on average 20 deals a year through their database, or purely by referral. And so as long as we can communicate, we came up with a real informational marketing campaign that didn't really say that Jerry and Sandy, they were retiring, but they're still available. They're still here to help. They just aren't going to do the things that are involved with showing or listing appointments. But if that client wants to just talk to Jerry or talk to Sandy about this or that, they can still do that. And so really, in essence, it's a partnership between the Toonstras and Jen. And if I'm okay sharing these numbers, like if they can do 20 deals at an average rate of 3%, that was like 30,000 in retirement income to them and 90,000 in commission to Jen. Not too bad, right? Based off of their database of, like 200. They had a pretty big database.
Yeah, they had close to 400.
400, yeah.
Do you think Wanamaker is gonna retire anytime soon?
I've asked them that a few
I asked
times.
him that last week. He said he's either gonna die or not.
Yeah.
That's his exit
But if you want to
strategy.
find some buddies, I would call up a lot of, a lot of agents that are, at 70 plus. I think because, I plan on working until I'm at least 75, 80. But I would, there's a lot of agents that have great success stories by taking over books of business. And going rate is at least 25% for referral fees. But the key thing is making it a win-win, making sure that they can trust that, because that's the one thing that could happen is they trust you or they try to get you to help them, and then you don't deliver the same type of service that they delivered. There is a difference of a retiring 65 to 70-year-old agent, how they do business versus how, 30, 40, 50-year-olds. So just, you have to make sure that same business model is as close as possible. Does that make sense? Mega open houses, when are we doing that training? Next week?
I think it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. Come back for that one, because that is another way to definitely track more sellers by doing these mega open houses. I'll just tease you guys on that one. Builders, definitely a great way to get more sellers or more listings. Bring buyers, that's probably step 1. Make sure that you bring the buyers to the builders you can trust, and that, you can have a good working relationship with them. There are builders that we want to try to avoid, right, Ryan? Identify lot and land opportunities.
Lunch tomorrow.
And concepts marketing campaign that we're working on. We got some builder marketing that we're working on to share with you guys. I think we're about 2 or 3 weeks out is what Sarah Madison told me. It's going to be pretty sweet though. We kind of did a little modification of something that one of our agents used, and she was so gracious to let us use it and end up getting a development off of this marketing piece. So I'm pretty excited to to have a concept version of that. Seller endorsement letters. This is something that, I don't know if anyone's done this, but have the seller or kind of give the seller the wording and have it kind of come from them as however you best see fit. But something from the neighbor says, "Hi neighbor, I wanted to send you a quick note about our agent Umex. As you may or may not know, we moved to blank for blank reasons. We interviewed several agents to sell our home and chose to work with you because his marketing plan was more thorough than anyone we interviewed. He was great to work with, had knowledge, attitude, and personality to help us negotiate and successfully close. If you're ever thinking about selling, you should give him a call." Anyone ever used a letter like this before?
I did once, yeah. She did a review, and so I sent it out to the neighborhood. I've just started farming that neighborhood, though, so I don't know if anything's really coming of it, but that was how I started farming that neighborhood.
Yeah. But who thinks this would be something that you would open and read if you're getting that letter? And then all of a sudden they know your name, right? So I definitely highly recommend that one. Community involvement, concept scares. I don't think we're all utilizing the good that the team is doing. Thanks for everyone that's in this room that's on that foundation. We're doing a lot of great things for the local community, and we should definitely start using that in all forms of marketing, and obviously, donate and help as you can. But community involvement also with schools, activities, networking events, anything that your community is doing, both online and offline. 33, this last one, isn't it, Michelle? We only went 15 minutes over. This one, I think I saved this one for last. I think this is something that makes lots of things win-win. Marketing your current listing to the max. A lot of times we're doing the marketing, but we're not showing off what we're doing to your sphere or to your database. But I will definitely tell you, I notice when you guys are really marketing your listings, and it makes me want to list with you guys. When you guys are doing awesome photography, when you're doing agent opens, when you're doing open houses, when you're doing videography and video walkthroughs. And so just think about all your friends on social media, everyone in your database, and the fact that they see you working hard to try to sell Jill's house, to try to sell Brandy's house. So take what you're doing and make sure and it's okay. Again, I don't want you guys to say, "Oh, look at me, I'm using the best photographer in America and I just spent $500 on this drone." No, you don't have to do that. Just by doing those things, the next thing you know, you're gonna attract that person on the other side of Facebook to using you. One agent that I think has done a great job and can attest to getting listings because of her listing marketing is Shannon Solomon. I mean, she definitely does a great job. She is front and center of all of her listings, all the things, the videos, the selfie videos. I mean, she gets a new listing. It's like, that's like the most exciting thing that she's done all month, right? And doesn't that make that pretty contagious and attractive to her people on Facebook? And then, she's got quite a few listings that have come live recently. So take advantage of your current listing to attract more listings, but of course, to attract the buyers and sell the house. So that's what I got, guys. Anyone have any questions? Oh. Thanks, Jerry. First meeting. Oh, I like him the best already.
It's called sucking up.
But so the last thing too, I didn't put this on here, but if you have some goals of how many listings you want to take on a month, whether it's 3 listings, 4 listings, you have to write down your goals. You have to read them every day, and then you have to work on them. And I think this is like, don't you guys think if this is all that you guys did to get listings, that you'd probably be busy for the rest of your careers? So that's all I got, guys.
Thank you.
Where's Madison when I needed her to record the standing up? Singular.